Hello everybody, Kelly Rice here, but I write under my pen name K.M. Rice, which are, as you may have guessed, you clever ones out there, my initials. I should have raised my hands because now I just revealed that I have notes of things to talk about in this episode. What is this episode about, you ask? It is about nature and writing in nature. What do I mean by that? This is an important topic because, well, the world is nature. Anything that's not nature is fabricated. Like, we have this false concept of inside versus outside. Inside, what is inside? You're in a box. Like, literally, you're in a man-made box that is your house or your office building, and you're calling that inside. But it's just like taking a cardboard box and setting it on your lawn and saying they are completely separate spaces. It just doesn't make much sense. At least not to me. The real world is outside, and all of the world is actually outside. As you know, I like to bring the outside in. Now that I've rearranged my room, you can see fewer of my sticks and feathers and mosses and things like that, but I still have my Wheel of Time behind me. That helps me keep track of the seasons and the different holidays. So I'm obviously someone who likes to live my life around nature. My very first word was outside, other than like mommy and daddy or mama and dada. And I'm, it's my happy place. I enjoy being amongst the trees and the birds and the wildlife and just the fresh air. So I'm always out hiking, I'm always out adventuring. If you follow me on social media, you see lots of pictures from those escapades and quiet moments. But being in nature and writing about nature are two different things that are integrally linked. And that's why I was being cheeky and I was like, this vlog is about writing in nature and nature in writing. For those of you who would like to incorporate nature into your works, or maybe bolster the works that you've already written by adding some more details of the natural world, then some of my advice in this episode is definitely going to help you. If you have read my novella, The Wild Frontier, you may have noticed that nature is kind of the third main character. The landscapes of North America, in particular the United States of America, in the early 1800s, were very prominent in my my vision for that tale, and part of it was kind of an ode to the landscape that I love and that I feel I am a part of, and that makes me me. I won't go so far as to say I make it. I don't think it's reciprocal in that way, but I am delighted by the natural world. And that leads me to my first piece of advice for writing about the natural world. I would say pack some food and water if you need to. Pack a notebook and a pen. Go to a beautiful open space of your choosing somewhere in the natural world. And you know what? I should clarify. You don't have to go to a state park, a national park. You don't have to go to a vast open space. If you have a backyard or garden, go there. If you live in the city and there is a patch where there's some grass in like a tree, and a bird goes in that tree every once in a while, use that as your starting point. But the important thing here is, even though I'm telling you bring a pen and paper or pencil and paper, the important thing is to take yourself to this place. And now this is going to be very zen and mindful, but let yourself be. Don't touch your pen and paper. You need to sit there for at least a half hour. Let yourself absorb the atmosphere that is around you. And in that sense, it is more to your benefit because it will help you focus better if you are at a place that has a lot of nature rather than just like the one tree on the street outside of your apartment building. Because then you're going to be trying to block out all of the human-made noise and the traffic and all of that. So if you could find yourself somewhere more remote, then go there. But as I said, any start is a start as far as I'm concerned. And let yourself be and exist in this natural state and in this natural place. And let yourself, and this is going to get very transcendental, let yourself lose yourself. Let yourself dissolve until you are just an observer and you're not a participant and you're not creating actions. Don't be talking. If you have your phone with you, for heaven's sake, put it on silent. Don't be trying to interact with any animals you see. Be as still and as peaceful as you possibly can. And you will be amazed by how much your mind will unknot and how much it will wander and how much you will actually observe around you. You will begin to perceive the true interconnectedness of all things. Ecology is an incredible realm of study, but you don't have to be a scientist to participate. Going out in nature, whether it be a desert, the oceanside, a river, a forest, you're going to start observing behaviors and connections that you never observed before. And that's always very exciting, and it can get, I want to say self-fulfilling, but that's not quite what I'm looking for. It will excite you to the point that you will feel satisfaction with what you're doing. Some of you might say, I'm not going to go sit somewhere for at least half hour just doing nothing, but our culture is so go, 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 go. And this is something that you can do not only for your mental health and all of the benefits that it can bring, but just to improve your writing. And I tell you to start by doing nothing and not writing at all, because if you sit down and you just jump into it, you're not actually observing, you are not actually taking it in. It's going to feel rushed, it's going to feel forced, and worse, it's going to be token. You will not have original observations that might not be original to the world, but they will be original to you and to the language that you will choose to use to express these observations. I hope that makes sense. There's only one of you, and I know I've brought this up before because I like to remind people of the fact that there is only one of you in existence. As far as we know, alternate realities aside, there's only one of you in existence, and only you can tell that story the way that you are going to tell it. So some people get disheartened and they feel like, well, there's already been a story similar, or I know someone else who's writing something similar. It doesn't matter. No one's going to tell the story the way you are. Just like nobody is going to embody the sensations that you are trying to channel out in nature the same way that you are. Let your mind drift. Yes, start thinking of words. And in fact, when you do start feeling compelled to write, I do suggest writing a list of words. Doodling, draw what you see. A good exercise when you're starting to write is write a paragraph, when you're starting to write about nature, I should say. Write a paragraph about exactly what you see. So now you've done your observation, you've sat there for a half hour, an hour, and you're progressing to the stage where you're ready to start putting stuff down. What I want, the goal, I don't want to say what I want to see you do because I'm not your teacher or your parent, but my goal in giving you this advice, and again, this is a process I've done many times myself, because it's the cane rice process. I don't want to be an a-hole and try to brand it that way. But what you will avoid doing by taking the time to observe and then writing down your observations is what I mentioned earlier. You will avoid your writing becoming token, cliched, and disinteresting to the reader. If you are writing in great detail everything that you're seeing, you are going, yes, it's boring, and I do call it an exercise because it is an exercise of your imagination and your literary faculties. What you're doing, though, is forcing yourself to describe every minutia, or is it minutiae? Someone correct me in the comments. Every detail, every fine detail that you are seeing. Now, which flower did that bee land on first? Which blossom did it go to on the plant? Why do you think it went to one and not the other? How much pollen does it have on its legs? What color is the grass? Is it brown now? What does that smell like? Is it green? Are the tips starting to yellow? Are the tips starting to brown? What causes that? Is that because you're at the end of spring and the sun is getting too hot now and all the fresh young grass is dying away? What kind of trees are around you? What kind of birds? Is that the same bird making all those different songs? Or are there many birds? You know, what does the wind feel like against your skin? What does it sound like? What smells are being carried to you? These are all ways to utilize your senses that you will find this will just start flowing. You will become a conduit of your observations. And it won't feel like homework to you at that point. And what you're going to have when you emerge from this experience, from this nature bathing, if you will, is you're going to have your own unique observations, your own life experience that you can then insert into your writing. You know, I had an author friend from England visit me over 10 years ago now, and she lived in a very urban setting from what I understand, and wanted to, you know, all of her stories were epic set out of doors in other worlds. And I took her on an 8-mile hike. And I remember when I brought her out and I pointed to the top of the mountain in the distance that we were going to, and I said, "That's where we're going." Her response was, "You're having a laugh. You must be having a laugh." And I said, "No, we're going there." And she was a good sport and she went with me. And thank you, Tara. We went to the top of the mountain and we came back and we walked back home. And afterwards I was like, "You just hiked 8 miles. You just went to the top of that distant mountain and came back." She was like, "I can't believe it." Like, she was tired and everything, but she was like, "I can't believe that I did that." And I said, "Yeah, but isn't that great insight now for your characters? When you know, we both loved Lord of the Rings." And I was like, imagine how much those characters, like, people like to make fun of Fellowship of the Ring because it's like they're walking and they're walking and they're walking. Actually, that it should be left to right because they're always walking left to right in Fellowship of the Ring. Push up my nerd glasses here. But I wanted to point out to her, like, this is so enriching, not just for us as people and our friendship and for you getting to see this part of California, but it's amazing as a writer to have that experience, and then from that you can extrapolate it. You know, you could be like, "God, what did that feel like?" And I know I'm going on a little bit of a tangent here, but how sore were your feet? I just did a 12-mile hike yesterday, and knock on wood, luckily, my body, I'm not at the greatest level of fitness at the moment. I'm not happy with my level of fitness, but I'm very happy with my health right now because here I am the next day, I'm standing filming this vlog and I'm fine. Like, nothing's, I mean, I feel like I did something yesterday, but nothing's really hurting. My feet were another story. My toes felt like someone had taken a hammer to every individual one. And when I pulled my hiking boots off, I found blisters everywhere, and the blisters were causing severe pain. Popped all the blisters, getting gross real fast. Been popping them ever since because they like to fill up again. And I think I'm at the point where they're okay now and my feet feel fine. But at the end of that hike, I was literally fighting off limping and was like, "Oh my God, I can't walk anymore, but I'm with my friends and I have to, like, keep up a brave face." So all those descriptors I just gave you from my own personal experience, I can apply to my writing. And like I said, if that's how I felt after 12 miles of hiking through the mountains, how the heck is a character going to feel? You know, in fantasy books, we often describe characters as walking places or riding horses. And very rarely is the human side ever acknowledged. And that makes it fantastical to me. The fact that someone walked or ran many miles to get to someone else's house and they're like, "Oh, I didn't expect you. Come have some ale, have some meet, and then they're like, okay, yeah, I'm not dead. I'm not about to die. I'm not like having a lot of needs right now. That, as someone who, you know, I don't do marathons or anything like that, but I grew up outside, and when I see that that isn't reflected, and it doesn't have to have a lot of attention drawn to it, just a reference to the fact that they were exhausted, their feet hurt, whatever, that pulls a lot of weight. And not having it, to me, is kind of like putting a film between me and whatever the material is I'm reading. Same thing happens again when I'm watching movies and they use horses like cars. They just get on the horse, turn the key, vroom, 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 or like a motorcycle. Vroom, the horse is galloping, and it's galloping, and like they're in a completely different terrain and it's still galloping, and then they get to where they want, and they park the horse, get off, go over, start talking to their friends, don't tie the horse up anywhere, don't give it food, don't give it water, don't check its feet, don't take care of it, and just get back on the horse when you're ready and leave again. It's like, they're not cars. I mean, I've had the good fortune of growing up with horses since before I was born. There were horses at my house, and it doesn't work that way, not by a long shot. And when I see that, and I know this is a personal thing, and I'm in probably a decreasing portion of the population that would even notice this, but it does pull me out every time. And I will stop there, otherwise I will go into a tangent about archery and film and all kinds of other things. But my point is, experience as much as you can, because it's only going to enrich your writing. And when it comes to nature, get out in nature and experience it yourself, because it will be one of your greatest tools. Another detail, and there are two sides to this one, another detail that can really help enrich your writing is specificity about the flora and fauna. I think it's important for you as the writer to know what you're looking at, even if the character doesn't. If you're writing first person or close third person, where we're only following that one individual around and we only really know what they know, then it might not make sense to say that was oh no, I'm drawing a blank. Tan oaks were interspersed amongst the live oaks. Here and there, their canopies were dappled. Little bug. Nature. Here and there, their canopies were dappled by the madrone trees that had grown far larger than the loamy soil should have allowed. However, at one point, this area must have been richer in detritus. Like, obviously I'm being extreme, but if it's knowledge that the character probably wouldn't have. In the middle of my tirade about what your character could reasonably know, my memory card filled up because some things never change, including this one when it's, yeah, I called myself an it, when it's trying to film a vlog, it doesn't ever remember to delete the last vlog before it starts filming. But if it's information that your character would not by a stretch even know, you can't really put it in without it feeling like it's going out of character or that you're breaking your point of view that you're writing in. So you have to find creative ways. But that said, I think it's perfectly understandable for even a character like my character Ophelia, who has only ever lived in suburbia, or downtown. I think it's perfectly logical for her to have a cursory knowledge of the trees around her. And I think it's more important for the author to have an extensive knowledge that you can use in your arsenal, your writing arsenal, whenever you wish. So I am a big fan of things like this. Booklets that identify, here you go, here's oaks. Oh, I went too far. Oh, here we go. Here you go. This is a key to help you identify some different types of oaks. And I just like knowing this stuff anyway. But here is Trees and Shrubs of California. If you don't live here, this wouldn't pertain to you, but find one that pertains to your geographic area. And have fun. You know, and that can, as you continue to nature bathe or go out in nature, you will find yourself, once you start being able to recognize different trees and plants and shrubs and animals, you will find yourself your knowledge expanding almost exponentially. So like I was saying, I do definitely recommend that authors and writers know this stuff, even if it's not important for their character too. You may one day be writing something in which you are an omniscient narrator, and you can use all of that nerdy knowledge. So I hope that helps you and gives you some advice about nature and writing in nature. Now, as I sign off today, I'm going to say something rather ambitious. I know you can't see much of what I'm wearing, even if I go on my tippy toes, you can't really tell. I have this kind of Marvelous Miss Maisel look going on today because I got a new dress in the mail, and as I opened it and received several surprises, I realized I should have filmed it and documented it and put it up on my channel as maybe a review. If you guys are interested in that, I might attempt to do it with this dress because, like I said, it wasn't exactly what I expected. And I think that some people might find it entertaining. This is my vlog, but that doesn't mean that my channel from now on is going to be limited to only vlog episodes. So that is me signing off with the dress that I'm wearing. I know it's not as exciting as it could be, but you already got to see my vase or vase with, they're kind of wilting right now because I picked them a few days ago, but these are sprigs of ceanothus. There you go. There are many different types of ceanothus. I couldn't tell you what specifically, but this is a plant indigenous to our area. It is sometimes referred to as wild lilac, and it is my favorite flower because the scent is absolutely a mixture of sweet candy, tangy fruit, hint of citrus, and something else wholly, uniquely its own that one would have to smell to understand. So there's an example. Alright folks, I hope this has proved useful. As always, leave your questions, comments, and suggestions for future episodes below. If you are enjoying this, please do subscribe. And it has come to my attention, because I'm such a horrible YouTuber, that you have to hit the bell in order to be notified that you have subscribed. So when you see the little bell symbol, click it, and then I guess I'll come into your email. And again, if you're extra supporting this, or if you think I'm like, I would like to see that chick get attacked by a dog, or I'd like to see her pretending she's a goose and being beaten. Okay, not quite beaten, but almost beaten with a shovel by an angry farmer who's actually her kid's sister. If that sounds appealing to you, you might want to hop on over to my Patreon page, because that's part of Monthly Madness. It's right, for I say $5 every month, you get access to really bizarre, insane videos involving me. In fact, I'm usually the only one on camera because I'm not going to humiliate other people by putting them in that position. But my sister often doesn't care because she does Happy Hobbit with me and she's really cool and funny. She's also a photographer. AlexandraRicePhotography.com. So if you really want to support me, you can hop over there, and if you just want to support this vlog, it's only $1 a month. That's only $12 a year. And if you're like, no, I'm serious and I want to see more of your writing, then hop over to the same place. You thought I was gonna say somewhere else, didn't you? I'm just trying to cover up for the fact that I had a lapse in my thoughts. But for $10 a month, you can subscribe to my Scribblings tier, and you will get to see what I'm working on, past projects, author readings, poetry, lots of poetry actually lately, and fun things like that. So I hope you've enjoyed this episode, and please do consider supporting independent authors like me. It's nice to be strange.